There comes a moment, a single act that transforms how the world perceives you. It's not about raising your voice, amassing wealth, or seeking validation. It's about mastering yourself. Today we'll explore profound Stoic principles that, once practiced, will change how others treat you. But before we delve in, if you're seeking wisdom to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength, subscribe to Stoic Bond Mastery. Let's embark on this journey together. Number 1. Embrace inner fortitude. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught that true strength lies in the mind that resists domination by passions. His words, "The mind unconquered by passions is a citadel," remind us that external circumstances are unpredictable, but our inner world, our thoughts, perceptions, and choices can become an unbreakable stronghold. Inner fortitude is not about suppressing emotions or becoming emotionless. Rather, it's about emotional regulation, developing the strength to observe emotions without being ruled by them. Anger, fear, jealousy, and pride often arise from a sense of helplessness or a need to control what we cannot. When we ground ourselves in logic, reason, and virtue, we transcend the volatility of emotion. A Stoic doesn't panic when insulted, doesn't crumble in adversity, and doesn't gloat in success. Why? Because they understand that none of these things define who they are. Their identity, peace, and power come from living virtuously, not from external validation or material status. Practicing inner fortitude means developing habits that reinforce mental resilience: journaling, meditation, delayed gratification, and self-inquiry. It means detaching from ego, resisting impulsive reactions, and becoming deeply familiar with your principles so you can return to them during moments of turmoil. People naturally respect those who possess this kind of inner stability. Think of historical figures like Nelson Mandela or Viktor Frankl. Individuals who remained grounded and principled even in the face of extreme adversity. Their strength didn't shout, it radiated. When you embrace inner fortitude, you become a quiet force. Unshakable, dignified, and deeply respected. You don't need to chase influence or power because you embody it. Number 2. Release the need for external validation. Seneca's wisdom that a man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is speaks directly to the human tendency to tie happiness to others' approval. In modern society, we're constantly bombarded with signals that say, "You're only worthy if others say you are." Social media likes, follower counts, and public praise have become false indicators of self-worth. Stoicism teaches that external validation is both unstable and out of our control. If you depend on others to affirm your value, you become their puppet. Your emotions rising and falling based on their fleeting opinions. This kind of life is exhausting and unsustainable. Instead, cultivate self-approval through virtue. Live with honesty, humility, courage, and justice, not because it will earn applause, but because it is right. This internal compass becomes your true source of contentment. When you do what aligns with your values, you no longer need the world to clap for you. This doesn't mean being closed off to feedback or community. Rather, it's about not being emotionally enslaved by the need to please others. A Stoic leader listens but isn't swayed by flattery or criticism. Their worth isn't a reflection in the mirror of society, it's rooted in self-knowledge. Practically, this means, stop asking, "What will they think?" Start asking, "Is this in line with my principles?" Remind yourself daily, "I live for virtue, not validation." The irony is this: once you stop craving approval, people often respect you more. Why? Because authenticity, independence, and confidence are magnetic. 3. Practice deliberate silence. In an age of constant noise, silence is a radical act of power. Most people speak to prove something, to gain approval, assert dominance, or fill uncomfortable spaces. But the Stoics saw silence as a sign of maturity, wisdom, and self-command. Deliberate silence doesn't mean avoiding conversation. It means choosing your words with precision. It's about speaking when there's something meaningful to say and having the discipline to withhold commentary when there isn't. When you become comfortable with silence, others start to notice your presence more profoundly. Your words carry more weight because they're not diluted by excess. Marcus Aurelius exemplified this principle in his Meditations, where he often wrote of guarding his thoughts and only speaking what served truth or purpose. Silence, for the Stoic, is not passive, it's strategic. It gives space to reflect, to observe, and to respond thoughtfully. In practice, resist the urge to interrupt or dominate conversations. Pause before you speak and ask, "Does this serve a purpose?" Allow your silence to unsettle or intrigue rather than rushing to explain. People who master silence are often perceived as composed, mysterious, and intelligent. They don't need to shout to be heard. Their silence itself speaks of self-respect, wisdom, and restraint. 4. Respond, don't react. Epictetus reminds us, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. This teaching is one of the core pillars of Stoic thought. It tells us that we are not victims of external events, we are interpreters of them. Reacting is automatic, emotional, and often regrettable. Responding, on the other hand, is intentional, measured, and aligned with your values. The space between stimulus and response is where your power lies. Imagine someone insults you publicly. The reactive person lashes out, seeks revenge, or retreats in shame. But the Stoic observes the insult, detaches from it emotionally, and responds, if necessary, with clarity and dignity. Sometimes the wisest response is no response at all. Seneca said, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." That's why Stoics prioritize self-mastery. By choosing your response, you show that you are not ruled by others or your own emotions. To cultivate this, practice mindfulness. Observe your thoughts without judgment. Count to 10 before responding to emotionally charged situations. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? People admire those who stay calm under pressure. They trust them, look to them for leadership, and feel safe in their presence. Responding instead of reacting is not weakness, it's supreme strength. 5. Set personal standards. One of the most powerful ways to earn long-term respect is to live by a clear set of personal standards. These are your non-negotiables, principles you uphold regardless of the situation or the people around you. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This reveals a deep truth. People without personal standards are easily swayed by external rewards, approval, or temptation. But the Stoic with clear standards stands tall, unbothered by trends, criticism, or fleeting desires. Your standards act as a compass. They guide your behavior, shape your relationships, and determine how people perceive you. Whether it's honesty, punctuality, kindness, or discipline, your consistent commitment builds credibility. And credibility is the root of lasting influence. Living by personal standards doesn't mean being rigid. It means being principled. You don't compromise your integrity to please others or fit in. Instead, you become a mirror reflecting a life of intentionality. To apply this, write down your top 5 values and review them daily. Use them to guide decisions, especially when it's hard. Don't explain your standards. Live them. When others see you living consistently with your principles even when it's inconvenient, they admire and respect you. Not because you demand it, but because you've earned it. 6. Detach from outcomes. The Stoics taught that our control ends at our efforts, not at the results. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. In a results-obsessed world, this is a radical idea. Most people are fixated on how things turn out, whether they win the job, the relationship, the argument. But the Stoic understands that outcomes are shaped by countless variables, many of which lie beyond our control. By focusing only on what you can influence, your actions, your attitude, your discipline, you liberate yourself from the roller coaster of expectation and disappointment. This detachment doesn't mean apathy, it means clarity. You still strive, but without obsession. You still care, but without dependence. Seneca reminded us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Much of our pain comes not from reality itself, but from our attachment to imagined outcomes that never materialize. In practice, give your best effort, then release the result. Measure success by your integrity, not applause. Accept uncertainty as part of life's fabric. When people see that you're calm in both success and failure, they recognize something rare: stability. Your power doesn't come from what you get, but from who you are. 7. Cultivate self-awareness. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of Stoic practice. It's not just about knowing your strengths and weaknesses, it's about understanding your intentions, your triggers, your illusions, and your patterns. As Socrates, a precursor to Stoic philosophy, declared, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Seneca echoed this when he wrote, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." Without self-awareness, you become a slave to your impulses, swayed by emotion, praise, criticism, or fear. But when you deeply understand yourself, you gain sovereignty over your thoughts and behaviors. Self-awareness helps you respond instead of react. It gives you the insight to pause before you speak, reflect before you act, and make decisions based on wisdom, not insecurity or ego. This is how you build inner authority, which commands external respect. To develop self-awareness, begin journaling daily. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations was his private journal of self-reflection. After interactions, ask, What was I feeling? What? Did I act from my values? Meditate or spend a few minutes in silence each day to observe your inner world. A man or woman who knows themselves deeply is not easily deceived, by others or by themselves. People sense that. They trust someone who is grounded, reflective, and intentional. Self-awareness doesn't just build self-respect. It builds admiration from others. 8. Demonstrate composure under pressure. Composure is one of the rarest traits in modern life. In a world where people erupt over minor slights and break down under stress, calm is captivating. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius endured immense pressure as emperor during wars and plagues. Yet he wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Pressure doesn't create weakness, it reveals it. And if you remain composed under pressure, it shows tremendous inner strength. People may not always remember what you say, but they will never forget how you made them feel, especially in moments of crisis. When you stay calm, you think more clearly and make wiser decisions. You influence others to mirror your steadiness. You gain authority because calmness is strength. To practice this, train yourself to pause when things go wrong. Breathe deeply. Shift focus from emotion to action. Remind yourself, what can I control in this moment? Seneca advised, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Composure under pressure is not a natural talent. It's a practiced virtue. And when you master it, people instinctively respect your presence. 9. Value solitude. In solitude we meet ourselves. We hear the truth that noise and crowds drown out. While many fear being alone, the Stoic welcomes it not as isolation, but as a sanctuary for clarity and strength. As Seneca put it, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Modern society often mistakes busyness for importance and constant connection for fulfillment. But solitude is where transformation begins. It's where you can examine your life without distraction, align with your values, and nourish your character. Marcus Aurelius, despite leading the vast Roman Empire, frequently withdrew into moments of solitude to reflect. His inner dialogue in meditations is proof that even amidst chaos, the mind can find peace when turned inward. Solitude teaches you who you are without performance or expectation, how to generate your own happiness, undisturbed by approval, the difference between being alone and being lonely. To embrace solitude, schedule regular time alone without distractions. Walk in nature, write in a journal, or sit in stillness. Use solitude not to escape life but to understand it. The person who finds peace in solitude is never truly alone. They carry their center within. Others recognize this quiet self-assurance and feel both awe and trust in their presence. In a world of noise, solitude becomes your superpower. 10. Live with purpose. To live without purpose is to drift vulnerable to manipulation, distraction, and despair. The Stoics believed that a life well lived must be rooted in purpose. Not necessarily grandeur or fame, but in clarity of values and intention. Epictetus advised, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Purpose anchors you. It gives you direction when others are lost in confusion. It helps you endure hardship with dignity and joy with humility. And most importantly, it makes you magnetic. People are drawn to those who are going somewhere. Living with purpose means knowing what matters most to you, saying no to what doesn't align, measuring success not by comparison but by integrity. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily of his purpose as a ruler and a human being. His life was not perfect, but it was principled. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." To align with purpose, reflect on your values. What do you want your life to stand for? Set meaningful goals not just for achievement but for character. Serve others in a way that expresses your deepest principles. When you walk with purpose, you walk with power. Not the kind that dominates, but the kind that inspires. Others sense it and treat you differently not because you ask them to, but because your life demands it. Implementing these Stoic principles can profoundly change how others perceive and interact with you. It's not about controlling others but mastering yourself. If this message resonates with you, subscribe to Stoic Bond Mastery for more insights into living a life of purpose and resilience. Embrace the journey of self-mastery and watch the world respond in kind. Also, remember to like and share this with someone who needs to hear it.